Hey you guys, it's me Gemstone from www.debutinspirit.com. I hope you guys are doing really well. Now, this video is kind of like a continuation to my reading video, but I'm not going to be pulling any cards. I'm just going to be explaining some of the things that I touched on in that video. I didn't want it to get too long because I don't like my readings like going over a certain point. I like to keep them like roughly somewhere around the 10-minute mark. Maybe it can be like a few minutes over or so, but I don't want it to get like to be like this really long and drawn out video. I have to say some of the videos where I am just talking, it will get kind of long and drawn out, but that's because I I feel like I can because it's sort of more of a one-off thing, and I don't know why, but for me, it's just more important for me to really hold you guys' attention when I do the weekly videos. And I feel like making them a bit more straight to the point means that people just don't get tired of it and they can just watch the video, get what they get out of it, and yeah, and then go about their day afterwards. So, yeah, what I wanted to address is abundance and poverty because I think that that's something that sort of came up in the video, that there are a lot of people that are going through financial difficulty, and there is a lot of people out there trying to sell different things to people that are, meant to help you if you're going through financial straits and all this other stuff. Like, there's a lot of stuff that is out there, and what I wanted to say is this: I didn't want to come off like I was saying in that video that um tapping into abundance and using these principles where you can manifest money and stuff. I wasn't trying to say that it doesn't work. I'm not trying to say that, I don't believe in the law of attraction or anything like that, because I did mention in the video that sometimes people that are going through dire straits don't want to hear about that kind of stuff. When I mean that kind of stuff, I mean just to be told or just focus on abundance, because sometimes in that space, you're not feeling that way. And yes, it doesn't help that we open up ourselves to things that can be quite negative. That's why, even though there's times where I do hear about things that's going on in the news, I generally don't regularly watch the news because I feel like it's too much negativity at times, particularly if you are already someone um that is trying to manifest more into your life and stuff like that. The news definitely isn't something that you want to be listening to on a regular basis. But what usually ends up happening is, especially when you're on social media sites, people discuss news topics and it becomes trending topics. So you see certain things. And when it comes to what I mentioned about the poverty in the UK and stuff like that, and obviously it's not just about poverty in the UK, it's about global poverty because it is a global issue. But that was just something that had been discussed like in recent years, especially after the recession and stuff like that. And it had a lot of research and things had came up um, in terms of how it's affecting young people, especially children and stuff like that. And that kind of stuff I am interested in knowing about because I feel like it's important for all of us, regardless of how much money you have or who you are, to be concerned about social issues that do affect a lot of people and do essentially affect yourself because you're a part of this society. And so we shouldn't look at it like, oh well, that's that person's problem because they can't feed their children. No, this is a global issue, it's a societal issue, because this shouldn't be the case. And it takes us as a society to be able to work on these things and to make sure that this isn't the case for people that have small children, that are, raising families and stuff like that. So that's sort of, I think that's what kind of came up out of me when I made that video, because things like that I do feel really passionate about. And especially after making the video, um synchronicity kind of came in, and I randomly came across this video of a guy that was donating food and stuff, and well, helping them, a organization to donate food to people that are hungry, that don't have the ability to just go to the shops and buy groceries and things like that. And I was thinking to myself, um, I definitely do want to do more in terms of this cause. And I know that there are so many causes out there where a lot of people need help and assistance. And I think that it made me feel like I want to play a greater part. I don't just want to be, just donating things and giving things. I've done all those things, and those things are good because it still helps people, but it just made me think that, there's even more that I want to do in terms of these issues in society. But another thing is the reason why I feel like these is important to be active, because I think at times, especially when you just get people that are just going to say, well, focus on the abundance, I think that to a certain extent that is good. It is good, but it can be a bit passive when it comes to really taking action when it comes to certain things. I'm not saying that you can't manifest money. I'm not saying that it's not something that has worked for people, because I believe that it definitely has. I know that I've used the law of attraction to attract certain things in my life, and it has worked. But at the same time, I feel like it's important for us to really be active in terms of championing causes and things that can make a bigger difference to people on a larger scale. Because let's be honest, not everyone has the internet. Not everyone is able to watch videos on abundance and stuff like that. Some people are not going to be able to have access to it, and some people aren't going to be open to it. So if that's the case, we have to find other ways of helping people and doing things with people to make sure that their life can be improved in that way. Because I think that there is no reason on this earth why anyone should not be able to eat 3 square meals a day. Like, to me, that is outrageous that we live in a world where that is happening, or we live in a world where people can't have access to education, can't have access to clean water. Like, these things are just is crazy. And so it's like, what I wanted to make clear is, again, I'm not trying to say that these aren't important things to also focus on when it comes to our spirituality, but I'm saying that sometimes we can be privileged enough to focus on those things because we're not in the position of certain other people that have even less than we have, that may not be able to do those same things that we do. And we have to kind of think about that also. And another thing is, I want to always come off as being an authentic person, because I think that it doesn't make any sense for me to have this channel and to be talking to you guys and not be real, not be myself. I think that there are so many people out there, and I'm not trying to say that I'm just so different or whatever, or trying to say that I'm better than anybody, because I'm truly not. But I think that there is a lot of times when people can be selling you a kind of message that they themselves either are not fully practicing, or maybe they have their own reasons for why they're giving that message. And I always believe that if you try to portray something that isn't genuine, then people will always see through it. If they don't see through it initially, they will see through it eventually. So it's never a good idea to make yourself look, I guess, make yourself out to be something that that you're not, or I don't agree with that kind of thing. And so I know some people might be thinking, oh well, because of the fact that I've spoken about abundance before, they're gonna maybe always expect me to always be coming from that place. But I'm a human like everybody else. I believe that it's important to be real about our experiences and the things that we go through. And I will be the first one to say that there are times where I feel abundant, there's times where I don't really feel as abundant as maybe I should. There are some people out there that will make it seem like they feel abundant 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, and I think that that is ridiculous, because I don't think that the majority of people, even the people that read all the books and learn all the metaphysics and all this other stuff, I don't think a lot of them truly are feeling abundant all the time. because there's things that happen that throw you off, that throw things off. And particularly people that want to always like talk about this sort of prosperity message. They want to talk about this whole thing about finances and bettering finances and stuff like that. I know that even with all that stuff being said, if that same individual was to go through a tough time or a tough spell when it comes to finances, in that moment they may not be necessarily feeling abundant. Not to say that abundance is connected with finances per se, but a lot of people tend to think that way. But to me, abundance is more about just your connection with source, connection with the universe, and also being able to get the joy and the happiness from just everything in your life, even the little things in your life. Because there are plenty of people that don't have a ton of money, but they're still very happy. They still have family that love them. They still share things as a family, and stuff like that. And because of all that stuff, they can feel like, yeah, like we are abundant, we do have so much because of the love that we share with each other. And I think that is the most beautiful thing. And that's also a message that comes from that Five of Pentacle cards that I showed you guys, that you can have sort of, the love and support and affection of somebody else even in challenging times. And when you have that, that's when you know that you truly are tuned in to that sense of abundance, because you have something that not even money can buy. you know so abundance is a big thing, but at the same time I think that it's, again, especially, I feel that I do have a responsibility in because of the fact that I do put myself out there and I do speak on these things. I feel like I have a responsibility to be very genuine and honest about my own experience, and even the experiences of others, because I don't want to come off as one of them flighty spiritual people that act like they're just out there in the astral planes and act like they don't understand nothing that is going on in the physical world, because there are people that are like that. And I'm not trying to bash them people, because it's cool if that's you. If you're out there with the fairies, it's fine. But I just believe that you have to be rooted in this earth too. You have to be grounded in this world too, to really be able to understand what is really going on this earth plane. So and for me, that's where the real talk side of things comes from. And I do stand by what I said. I do believe that this whole world is like, it's illusion and it's delusion, because that's what the third dimension is. We've sort of created it from our own consciousness, and because of that we can manipulate it, we can change it. But it comes from a place of, are we willing to deprogram ourselves enough to be able to create another sense of consciousness that can be even better for all of us on this earth? Because right now I think that our consciousness is in it's in a state where we're programmed to think a certain way, and we're programmed to see the world in a particular way. And because of that level, because of that, that's the reason why things aren't really changing in the way they should. I think that over time we are becoming sort of more sort of deprogrammed, and because of that we are sort of making little efforts to progress, but it's not really happening on a larger scale, because we haven't reached that point of really being able to say, do you know what, these are the changes that we have to make as a sort of a global society, and these are the way that we have to improve things. And I think that we can have them kind of discussions, but a lot of them discussions, they don't really make big changes. They don't make significant changes. They don't make the changes that can mean that things like poverty can be wiped out. And those are the changes that we could make if our consciousness was of a higher consciousness than even what it is now. But it's like now it's still in the phase where it's just still generally too low for us to reach that point and that place. So with that being said, I think what we can do is we can make the efforts as much as we can to be able to support causes where we can be of service to other people. And we can say, okay, if this family that lives, I don't know, down the street or whatever, is going through something, that they can have access to a service that I help and I support, that can mean that they can feed their family and stuff like that. We can do it in that way, but I just wish in a way that we were at that point as like a human race where we can do it in a bigger way, you know, and really just bring about some major changes. Like it's almost like that video, it went viral, the Zygus video. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that properly. Sometimes I don't pronounce things correctly. um but then, you know, in that video they talked about how, you know, we as a society could change so much stuff. And it's like when you watch it, you think to yourself, wow, like we have that ability. But again, it's like, are we going to use it? Are we going to do those changes? Are we going to make those things happen that can improve everything for everyone? um but that's the big question, I think. So I don't want this video to get too long, so I'm just gonna end it here. So I hope you guys have a good day. Love you guys. Bye.